Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So I am going to do a flip through of this sketchbook, I guess. It's a Fabriano mixed media sketchbook that has mostly white paper, but it also has some black pages. It's got some orange, blue. So it's just got a lot of different kind of grounds to it. I think it's mixed media for the most part. Some of them might be drawing paper. But anyways, this is part of my 100-day project mixed media portraits, I guess. And I've done a lot of videos on these portraits. Some of them were push-pull, some of them were paint a monster. So if you're interested in that, you can always go back and look at them. But for this, I'm just going to show you these very, very unfinished portraits. And as much as I like looking at stuff that's done, I learn so much from looking at stuff that is in various stages of completion. And I learn from it because there's so much to learn from the various stages, because that's where a lot of the decision making happens before it's complete. Well, actually, that's where all the decision making happens before you get to the completed piece. So anyways, this particular one is probably 2 or 3 layers in. There's not a whole lot I like about it. I do like the curves, the composition, it's interesting, but other than that, nothing stands out to me. This one over here, I really, really, really love. There's not much going on. There's just some pencil. There is black chalk paint that I watered down, and I think I had some paint on my hands, you guys, and I just kind of like put fingerprints all over here. But I don't know, I just really love it. I love the unfinished quality of it. I love the drama of it because there's like white and black. I just, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, of course, I'm going to come back in. I'm going to put like, paint and collage and whatever, but I already love this one so much. Now this one over here, I do not like. I mean, there are parts of it that like I can go, oh, I love the tea bags. I love this red over here. I love this piece over here. But for the most part, it doesn't have enough value contrast for me. I like the drama that I showed you in the previous one. So even though this is so many layers in, I do not like this, and I like the unfinished one because I like that like contrast. It just really appeals to me. I find it interesting and exciting, and it draws me in. This one over here, unremarkable. I do like the tea bags and the hair. I like all this stuff. But other than that, again, there's not enough contrast going on. So obviously I would come back in, I would add collage, I would add more paints to pull the parts out, like lighter values, and then I would add more stuff to push things back. So, these are all incomplete. This over here, I do not like anything about it except for this curve. I really love this curve, you guys. And I think what I might do with this one is turn it into a very abstract mixed media portrait. Thus far, I've been kind of, like I set out with the intention of doing my 100-day project, and I was doing mixed media, but I was limiting my values because I wanted to really like hone in on my knowledge of values. But I think for this one, I might like turn it into some kind of an abstract thing. Now the next one is just me writing, so I'm gonna skip that one. Now over here, I think I was working on it and then I got really frustrated and then I covered it all up, which is a perfect ground for me to work over top of it. And I can retain like some of these pinks and reds, but that's what happened is I just got like, oh my God, I hate it. And I was probably trying and trying and trying and trying. And then finally I got really frustrated and I go, okay, I have all this extra paint. Let me just slap it on there. And that happens sometimes, and we just gotta move on. So this one over here, again, unremarkable. I do like the tea bags and the hair. I like the texture, the contrast. It's interesting to me, but other than that, nothing else like is really pulling me in. Now this one over here I really love. It's not done, but as you can see, it's a study of 3 colors: Prussian blue, Payne's gray, and titanium white. So I was just using those 3 colors, trying to push my values. Obviously, it's still incomplete. I would probably go back in, get my whites, you know, do the whites of the eyes, do the highlights, like the parts that are gonna stand out. Like if you take your finger and you run it along your face, all the parts that protrude, you would use a lighter value and generally a warmer color, and you're pulling it like forward in space. And then all the stuff that recesses, so say, you know, the part underneath your lower lip, where your eyes are, all of that stuff recesses. So you would generally use darker values, cooler or neutral colors. So, you know, this is, I like it. You know, there's a lot about it that I like, but obviously, you know, not complete. So this over here, I was kind of experimenting. I laid down some collage. So I put a dictionary page, collage, 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 and then I worked over top of it. And so, you know, again, I would come in, I would put lighter values, probably put some darker values, push, pull, etc. Now this over here, I really, really like. I don't know why I like it. I usually go for the very like you know, dramatic, like a lot of like, how can I put it, like dark values and then the lightest values, and I like that contrast. But with this, it doesn't have that contrast, but I really do like it. Now, an interesting thing I could do with this is I could journal about it in my studio log. I have not done that, but I could do that, and I could figure out like, hey, why do I like it? You know, and that's a good way to get to know your visual language, to strengthen it, is just communicate like, hey, I really love this piece, but I don't know why I like it, because it doesn't have, you know, the elements that I usually like. So, you know, I could dialogue with that and find out. That would give me a lot of information. This over here, I like this actually. I like the tea bags over here. Now I do like all this stuff here. I would have to go in and put some lights in there to pull it out, the, you know, whites of the eyes, etc. This is my own homemade collage that I soaked in tea. So yeah, I can really, you know, I can go back in. There's a lot about this that I really like. Now this over here, I do not like it. I do like the fingerprints and the tea bags, but other than that, unremarkable. I would go in, I would probably, you know, throw some ink down at it, just really work on it. Now this over here, I really, really love. Again, it doesn't have that high contrast that I really gravitate towards. Now this over here is some of my collage, or maybe junk mail, I don't know, but I really love that piece. Like, it was kind of accidental. Like the texture of the tea bags. I don't know why I like this. There's a lot about it that's really pulling me in. I like the expression on her face. So yeah, I would definitely learn a lot if I would dialogue in my studio log. This over here I really like. Unfinished, but I like the rawness of it. And what I find is that, you know, if I can not cover up so much of my stuff and leave some of this like raw, like energetic, like, you know, like that, like rawness, I think I would be better off for it. But what ends up happening is I know that I like this stuff, but then when I start working, I just tend to cover up a lot of it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some painter's tape, and I'm going to like put it on the areas that I want to keep so that I don't cover it up. And then when I'm towards the last stages, I can pull the painter's tape out, because like I like all this stuff. But generally, I don't know what it is. I just tend to cover it up. I don't know. I'm getting better at it though. I really love a lot of this tea bag texture. Again, that like rawness, that energy, that unfinishedness. But my big problem is like, I will come in and I'll cover it all up. And then I'll be like, oh my God, why did I cover it up? You know? So these are some blank pages. Now, this is very interesting. And I'm going to do another video on colored grounds. So colored grounds are different for many reasons. And excuse me. Each colored ground is not the same. So what I mean by that is like, okay, this colored ground is not the same as this colored ground, as this is a gray, as, you know, this black. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. They all have their problems to solve, to overcome, to resolve. So a colored ground is not a colored ground. It depends on the color, and then it also depends on the value. So when you're using a colored ground, and I'm not going to talk about it at length because I'm going to make another video, but I'll just say this and then I'll move on. When you're looking at a colored ground, it's really helpful, I find, to not look at the color first, but look at the value. So this is a mid to light value, and it's going to be very, very, very different than working on this black paper. Okay, and so when you're working on a colored ground, generally it's like you're working in a different way. Your brain is like, it's just different, you guys. I'll make another video about it. But anyways, this particular color is not an orange that I like. I actually do not like this orange at all. It is not my favorite orange. I actually, yeah, it's very difficult for me to work on this orange because the oranges I like are like really rich and dark and like, you know, like this orange, which is actually a kind of a cad red light, but this is the orange I like, or like red, or, you know, I like different, like I like these like really rich, deep colors, and this orange is not my thing. But I can learn a lot from working on something that I don't like because, you know, you're having to incorporate a color, a background that you don't really like. That's not part of your visual language. So at the end of it, you're going to learn a lot from it. Now, I kind of cheated a little bit because I did put a piece of collage here. So I'm not like 100% working with the color. I am over here in the hair and in the neck and the clothing, but I took a piece of collage that I had dipped in tea, I think, and I just glued it down here. So that's kind of cheating, you guys, because honestly, I should not have done that probably. But this orange is just really not my cup of tea, but you know, it's a learning tool, right? So I think I might have a couple more. Well, this one is just kind of, I don't even know what I was doing here, you guys. But, you know, here it is. I was maybe experimenting with my values with grays, and this is a blue background. So interesting. This is just some sketches here that I'll probably, you know, work over top of it. This over here, I don't like a lot about this. I do like this part, which is just collage. I like my fingerprints on here, some of this tea bag, but yeah, unremarkable. I don't like a lot or any of what's going on besides what I just pointed out. And I think that's it for the book, for the sketchbook. So I hope that this has given you guys some ideas about, you know, different ways of working. And like I said, you guys, as much as I love looking at a finished art journal, like a flip through, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, ooh, you know, and I really love that. I learn more from looking at unfinished pieces. So I hope that this has been helpful and inspiring, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.